Hey everyone, sorry about all that. We're here with Amanda Thorne tonight, and we go way, way back from all the way.
We don't need to say years.
Yeah, I said that
I've
the
known
other night.
Jersey a long time.
Yeah, a long time now. Holy cow! Yeah, it feels like yesterday though. I mean, it feels like I was just seeing you out in San Diego not too long ago, and it's been like what 10 years?
Yeah, you're here for my wedding. Almost
Yeah.
10 years. It'll be 10 years in July.
Wow,
I know. I can't
that
believe it.
that is
A
crazy.
lot
Just
happened in 10 years, Jersey.
yeah. Yeah, but I was like, I was ready. I was actually wanted to coming out. I wanted to come out this summer to San Diego.
I
Uh,
know. I
oh
wish
well,
you would.
that would have been
Love
a lot of
fun.
fun. I was like, I'm ready to go back. It's time to go.
Yeah.
As Ming would say, like go to San Diego Comic Con. I almost did it last year. Ming's like, yeah, you don't want to go to that anymore. It's too big.
I know, right? It's like talk about being on top of everybody. It's like there's no way you could do 6 feet apart at Comic Con.
Oh no, so I'm pretty sure they're canceling that this year. It's supposed to be July. They haven't said it yet, but I'm pretty sure. We do a lot of cons, go to a lot of these things, a lot of film festivals, and right now they're all canceled. So,
I know.
but let's get right into it now. We're gonna go way way back in time, and we met a long time ago in college, and we were both on the radio, and that's what you continue to do. So why don't you give a little background of how you got started out in radio first?
So Flyer Radio was
Mhm.
at the University of Dayton,
Yeah,
and I was a communications major. I had a focus on radio, TV, and film, and then I decided to
yeah,
minor in marketing just in case it didn't work out.
yeah,
And I think we had a professor together, Dr. Rang.
yeah.
You
Dr.
remember
Rang,
Dr. Rang?
love that guy.
So,
Unfortunately, passed away, but
oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, but
I mean, he
he was
was
old when
pretty
we
old
had
when
him.
we had him.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure my sister even had him.
Wow.
But really cool guy, and he gave me this great piece of advice that even though I was focused on TV at the time. I thought I
Yeah.
wanted to do like reporting, like investigative reporting or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I got an internship at a local TV station there. And then I decided, he's like, be well rounded. He said, do a little bit of everything. And that is the best advice I've ever gotten in my career. And I'm so happy I listened to him because I have literally used every single thing that I did in college. And it's all come back now, like years
Yeah.
later, to help me out. And it's this thing. And he
Yeah.
told me, I got a job at the radio station. I wasn't planning on doing radio at the time, which is funny, and I was like very focused on the TV voiceover work. And I got a job with you at a place doing video production.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Seaver.
Yeah.
And that was the Center for like Business and Economic Research. And we produced commercials,
Yeah.
which led to me kind of dabbling. Our boss put me in charge of the styling department at the time. They didn't have one. And that's kind of where I got my experience with what I'm doing now, which
Yeah.
is I transitioned from radio DJ. I did that for 10 years.
Yeah.
And when we decided to have kids, my husband was like, our hours are crazy. And how are you going to make radio work? So I
Mhm.
decided to start my own company, which
Yeah.
is a styling company.
Yeah. And so you've been doing a lot of makeup. You're a makeup artist now, pretty much, right?
So I call
That.
myself a creative stylist
Yeah.
because I basically do the whole picture. So everything from wardrobe styling, like on a photo shoot,
Mhm.
hair, makeup, set styling, if there's a product involved. So I do everything from editorial magazines to weddings with brides. I mean, so it kind of runs the gamut. So it kind of goes a lot further than just makeup.
Yeah.
'Cause I couldn't decide on one thing. I'm a very visual person, so I kind of see the whole picture. So I couldn't just do one facet of that. I felt like I really needed to like kind of have my stamp on everything, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah. Well, that goes all the way back from Dr. Rang. I remember he said that
Yes.
to me too, and I tried to do everything, and I think I'd done everything also except makeup artist. Always wanted to try that, but it's long gone. But I remember that first time I met him, though, he said, I my voice is not good for radio."
Oh, well,
When I
I
first met
heard
him,
that so many times too, and I
when I
think my
first met
uncle even told me I had too nasally of a voice for
him.
radio, so I was like, "Oh, thanks."
He said I talked way too fast, but then I had him a few times, and by the end, he's like, "Oh, it's everything's great now."
I'm
But I
pretty
remember
sure
in the
we were
beginning.
in that same class together.
Yeah. I didn't do too well that first time around. And then as I went on, I remember one time, we used to be at the radio station a lot. I remember I used to hang out there a lot. And I remember skipping his class once and being on the radio because I was on the radio and then someone said, "Oh,
Was
go
it
on our
down
show."
the hall?
Yeah, down the hall.
The radio station was literally like 2 doors down.
So
I'm like, that was really smooth, Jersey. I'll never find out.
well, this was another class I had, and he was in the other building, the other communications building. So I stayed on the air, and I'm doing the thing on the air and talking, and I'm like, oh, I missed this class, but whatever, I don't care. I skipped this class, and then as I'm walking out of the radio, I see him walking towards me. And I looked at him and I made an excuse. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I had to do something at the radio station because he knew I worked there." I'm like, "I had to do this and that. And I missed the class. I'm so sorry. I apologize." He goes, "I missed it too." He just got to campus. He missed the class. So I was like, I could have got away with that. But it was just a fun rank
I
story.
don't remember that. I think I was there when this all went down because
Yeah.
I've never heard that story, but I remember that happening. So.
Yeah, I think it was you that I was on the air with.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were together. I must have skipped too. Oops.
Yeah, well, that's college. What are you gonna do? But yeah, that's just a fun Mr. Rank story. He was good. He was good at what he did. But so going into what you're doing now, can you talk a little bit more about it? How did you get into it? You just thought, hey, I'm going to do this, or how did you have that background?
Pretty much, it was insane.
Yeah,
it was literally insane. I've kind of lived my whole life a little bit like I am one of those people that I don't know why I should be scared of taking these crazy risks in life, but I'm not. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if it's just being the youngest kid of 4 and just I've always kind of had to like fend for myself in a way. It's like I played by myself a lot and I got very creative on my own, just figuring out. And I always felt confident that I could figure it out. It didn't work out. It didn't scare me. Like failing doesn't scare me. And I'm so happy about that because that's allowed me personally to take a lot of like scary jumps into things that I mean a lot of people would be like, what are you doing? Like I moved from Ohio.
Yeah, you went to a lot of different places. I was going to say you didn't you were in a lot of places at first, right?
I didn't have a job. I moved from Dayton, Ohio. I was working at WHIO. I was doing news radio. I was like the over person and then basically did everything. I was doing their morning news. I was writing stories. And then some things went down at that. And I just felt like I just wanted to get out. I never thought I'd stay in Ohio. I don't know. I wanted to be in the city. And I met a girl when I was backpacking through, lived in Seattle. And she's like, just come out. She's like, I need a roommate. And I'm like, I don't have any money. And I don't have a job. She's like, who cares? She's like, get up at Starbucks. And I was like, you know what? Why not?
Why not?
So that's what I did. I packed up my crappy little Ford Tempo. I had probably $300 to my name. And I moved out and lived in this tiny studio with one bed. She stayed at her boyfriend's house and I slept in this like one room, like tiny studio. I didn't know a soul and I just started knocking on doors. And you know what I did to get a job? I found someone at UD that had graduated in like the 70s, like way before us. And it was the only person I could find on the network for broadcasting who had a job and he was in radio. TV, I figured out after my internship was not for me. So my mom was like, music, why don't you do radio? So I called up this guy, didn't know him. He was in Tampa, Florida, and I said, hey, tax at all. I moved out here on a whim and I just to get a job. I don't
I'm losing you a little bit there. Freezing up a little bit here.
Oh.
A little bit. I'm losing you a little bit here and there. Uh-oh.
I can still see.
Yeah, you're freezing up a little bit. A little bit. We're losing you.
Fine. See you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, you froze. Your screen froze. It's so far out there in San Diego.
I know. We're on Mars.
Might be a couple storms out there.
Am I back?
You're still frozen.
So I'm not sure.
You're still frozen there.
Oh, I
wonder
on
why.
my screen, no one's frozen.
Oh. No, that's weird. Maybe Ming knows what's going on. I don't know.
Ming.
You there? Do you know what's going on? Is it her?
There she is. All right, let's
There it is. There you are. You're back.
Okay.
There you go. That was weird.
I'm like, yeah, weird. You never froze on my end, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was weird. But all right, so let's get back into it again. You were just talking about I lost you when you were just talking about when you moved into the place, or you're talking to the guy from UD Florida, and then kind of lost you there.
I just thought about any possible connections. I feel like that's important. Just like anything you can think of. If it's like out there, like, I don't know this guy, I'm calling him up, he doesn't know me. And I'm like, hey, this is my story. I moved to a new city. I don't have a job. I saw you went to the same college as me. And he was stoked. He thought that was the coolest thing. He's like, that is so ballsy that you reached out to me. He's like, I admire that. He's like, this is great. He's like, yes. He's like, actually, I do know someone, and she's at one of the top radio stations there. You should call her. And I did. And she got fired the day I called her.
Oh, wow.
Wow. But
that's radio.
I almost didn't leave a voicemail for her, and I did. And I basically got nervous.
Yeah.
And my whole life story about what happened and how I got out there on this voicemail, I hung up, I cried, and I got a call back like a week later from the program director who's like, hey, this girl's fired, but I picked up your voicemail and I'm from Ohio too. And I did the same thing when I was your age. Come in. I'm not hiring, but I want to talk to you. I like your story, and I like that you had the nerve to do that.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was my break.
I think
they weren't hiring, but I got a job.
Wow. I think that's kind of like
we hit it off, and that's what happened.
Our age group, when we went to school, like that's, I think once we got over the fear of asking people, like I'll ask anybody anything now. Like I don't have that fear.
Like you gotta sink or swim, right?
Go for it, right? No matter what.
What's the worst that's going to happen? They'll say, you're bugging me, go away. Okay, so go bug someone else then.
Yeah.
Like, even if they say no, who cares?
Who cares? Just move on.
Don't ask, you'll never know.
Yeah. That's how a lot of things happen for me, how I am where I am right now, because I wasn't afraid to ask. It took me a long time to get there, but
you've done everything. You've worked with Kevin Smith. That's awesome.
Yeah. And that was when we were in college, and I found his email and just emailed him.
Just asked him. It's like, why not? Just ask.
Why not? Why not? And even with the interviews here, people are home. So I'm just asking a lot of like known people. Hey, I teach at school. We usually have guest speakers, but I can't. Can we do a show? Can we do an interview? And they're like, sure. So people that you would never expect for me to be just reaching out and getting, they're like, yeah, well, come on.
Yeah.
So, and it turned into another show, because we do a show for our film festival called Hang Onto Your Shorts, and it's a podcast. So that's how I got into this, and now just started this show, and it's doing well. So keep on going, right?
I love it.
So
I love that you're doing this. You're putting yourself out there. That's what you have to do.
And if I didn't do it, I would have no one to talk to. So
I'm with you. And thank you for asking, because I have no one to talk to either right now, except a 4 and a 6-year-old.
Yeah, you got
my husband.
You got your kids and your husband. That's pretty much it, right? So it's a new thing. It's cool that I've been hanging out with people, filmmakers, actually on Friday and Saturday nights. We've been getting together on Zoom and just hanging out and talking.
I know. I feel like everyone is now. It's our new connection.
Yeah. So why don't you talk more about what you're doing now, and so you were in radio. You worked when you were talking, you went to Seattle first, right? Was it Seattle?
Yes. I got a job in Seattle. I got the job from the station that wasn't hiring.
Yeah.
And
you were there for a while.
What's that?
You were there for a while, right?
I was there 6 years, almost 6.5 years.
I used to listen to you. I
And
remember on the internet because
yeah.
you're on the internet at late at night because so
Yep.
many hours. And I used to remember I was going to sleep and I would put you on the internet, and that was when it was first kind of getting big. The internet kind of
Yeah.
it wasn't like it
Well,
is
I
now
think streaming, yeah, for
streaming
sure.
wise. Yeah,
Like
so
the internet had been around, but it
well,
was
a lot
like
of the radio stations
streaming and
weren't.
listening to people was kind of like, and having a webcam and,
Yeah,
like seeing the person behind the curtain, that was kind of like becoming big at the time.
yeah, I was shocked though. I was like, I'm listening to you from New Jersey and Seattle. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It was
So
cool. I
yeah, so
loved
that was
that. And I loved that you supported me back then.
yeah.
I'll never forget that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we always try to do. I always try to do that with people, and then sometimes you lose touch, and you try not to, but it
You're
happens.
really good about that.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
always appreciated that about you.
yeah. Well, we had our fun in college, and just remembered, and we always had a good time after. So it was always fun, and
Um,
especially then after. How did you go from Seattle to
San Francisco.
San Francisco? Is the next one, right? Well,
Well, I got to a point where I had been basically saying yes to everything in Seattle. I was like,
yeah.
yes, I'll do overnights. Yes, I'll
Hmm.
do middays and fill in. Yes, I'll do the morning show fill in. Yes, I'll do
Oh,
like whatever it was.
yeah.
There was anything to be done at the station. I was like the go to person.
Did they pay
And
you more?
what's that?
Did they pay you more for that?
Oh,
I
no.
hope. No.
I didn't get paid anything. It
Yeah.
was horrible money,
Radio
but
money,
I
yeah.
made it work
Mhm.
because I was so excited just to be having a job in
Yeah.
a top 10 market
Yeah.
when I was that young, and I was just like, "Thank you for letting me be here."
Mhm.
I didn't care, and it wasn't an internship. I was getting a salary, but it wasn't like, like the top
And
morning show guy or girl, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So, I
But
was
Seattle is
thankful.
big music, big in music there.
It was great, and it was like the station I was at was so cool, and I was
Mhm.
just so appreciative that someone took a chance on me because I had very little experience in radio at the time, and my experience was news, like radio news in
Or us
Ohio.
or
So
us
then they
fooling
put me
around on the
on
air.
a rock station, and I'm like, "Thank you." I'm like, "Oh my god, you believed in me." And they let me do really cool things. They sent me to New York by myself to interview REM and Sting, and I'm like
Wow.
shell
Wow.
shocked. I'm like, "I can't
Yeah.
believe they're trusting me to do this." So,
Yeah.
I feel grateful. I worked like a dog. I did everything I could. I did production. I did whatever it was, go to events, host concerts, and I loved it. I
Yeah.
thought it was the best experience I ever had. I got to run a promo team for another station, The End. They used to be on The Real World Seattle. I think you saw
No.
that radio station, 1077.
Yeah.
So anyway, basically I left because my goal was to do middays, and I had an opportunity that kind of didn't work out. So I think a little frustrated because I wanted to get to the next step and I knew
Yeah.
it wasn't going to be where I was. So I felt like it was a good time to move on.
Mhm.
So I did what I always do. I quit my job. I sold everything in my apartment and I packed up my car again and I moved to San Francisco without a job again.
Wow.
I
Oh,
know.
I thought you had the job. You just went.
Well, I had a job, but I was like, I need something new.
Yeah.
And the weather was getting to me at that point. It was
A lot of
cool in the
rain.
beginning. It was charming, but then it was like too much. I can't handle rain.
Mhm.
I'm a sunshine girl.
Yeah.
So, um, I just got in my car and I went to San Francisco. Thank God I started like pounding the pavement again and talking to people. And my boss in Seattle ended up in San Francisco and hired me at
Hmm.
Radio Alice.
Oh, wow.
So I got another opportunity from this woman who was wonderful, Chris Mays. She's awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, she helped me out. So I was doing that part time, and then I got like a few other jobs like to supplement the income because it's San
Mhm.
Francisco, right?
Yeah.
So
Expensive there.
then, from there, I was only there 8 months in San Francisco, and I got a really cool opportunity because I worked in Seattle. I met a guy who is now working in San Diego,
Mhm.
and he was working at this alternative station here called it was FM 94.9,
Yeah.
now Alt 94.9, where my husband is. but
Good
they
station.
needed a host for a specialty show called Big Sonic Chill, and I hosted a chill show in Seattle, and they knew that. The guy that I worked with knew that, so he referred me for this job. So they hired me and brought me down to San Diego.
Wow.
Best thing that ever happened to
Oh,
me.
it's a great city. I love San Diego.
Me too.
It's a lot of fun. I was there twice. So
Love it.
got to
Yeah,
go back. The weather's amazing.
me too. It is amazing.
So you were there. How long were you on the radio there for
I was
before you left?
on 3.5 years
Mhm.
here, and then they had a bunch of layoffs, and I was one of them, and they automated my show,
No.
and it was kind of like, wow. It was shocking. I was really upset when it happened, but I had also kind of seen the writing on the wall before it happened.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like setting myself up if I needed to make a career change.
Mhm.
I had already started thinking about what do I want to do. So I had already hired like a web designer to do like a website for me for styling. So I kind of, my brain was already there, even though I didn't know it was going to happen. And um, I don't know. I felt very scared when it first happened, but then I was like, okay, this is me getting pushed out of the nest
Yeah.
because I knew that I didn't want to do radio forever. I had kind of lost my passion for it at that
Hmm.
point,
Yeah.
and I knew that because I was offered a morning show job, which was like
Yeah.
the ultimate. Like
Oh
everyone
yeah.
wants the morning show job, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, wow. And it was with a woman, not the same woman who I really loved in radio. She was great. I couldn't believe she was offering me this. I didn't have a job,
Yeah.
since I just got laid off. And I said no.
Oh,
And that was
it's hard
major
to do. Yeah.
because I didn't have anything lined up with styling. I didn't have clients. I had nothing.
Wow.
I didn't have a portfolio. The last time I had done it was college.
Yeah.
So, I
But
mean, I literally was like,
so it took a while, but you built it up. I see pictures all the time on the internet now.
yeah. So the
So
way I started my styling business was I basically got together a lot of my good looking girlfriends that I was like, she's pretty. Maybe she'll
yeah.
model
Yeah.
for me. I found an up and coming photographer in LA who
Mhm.
was also looking to build a portfolio and just sort of started networking. I started going to networking events all over San Diego, basically just saying, I'm a stylist. Here I am.
Mhm.
Um, I have nothing to show you yet, but this is what I'm doing. And so it was just like, I don't think it was fake it for you make it until you make it because I knew I had the skill set to do it, but it
Yeah.
was just about convincing people that only knew me as radio that,
Mhm.
okay, now you're going to have to like know that I'm something else and I can do something else because that was like a hard sell in the beginning
Yeah.
because people were confused and
But
rightly so.
you built up the portfolio, and now you're working quite a bit.
Yeah. So I started doing a lot of free stuff in the beginning. I volunteered. I did styled shoots with photographers that just wanted someone to like style their models. And I just did a lot of freebie work in the beginning just to get
Yeah.
my name out there and get
Mhm.
published. I think that was the biggest thing that helped me is getting published in magazines, on blogs, just getting my name out there
Mhm.
and then just showing up everywhere. And so people are finally like, oh, okay. Who is this person?
That's
So
great. So you
that's
do.
kind of how it happened. And it snowballed. I've been doing it 8 years now.
It's been 8 years now. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why
And
the time goes
I've
by
gotten to do
fast.
some really cool stuff.
Mhm.
And it's the best thing. I get to be creative every day. It's never the same. My clients are always different. And I can choose now if I don't want to work with someone, which is like the
Yeah.
biggest like gift. It's like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just cool. I'm
I
really happy I did it.
have you ever worked on like a short film or an independent film at all and done any makeup for that? Has that happened yet? Could it happen if it hasn't?
Are you asking me to? Because I'll do it. Yes,
Maybe
that
one
sounds
day.
fun.
Do a little
Ramadan, Sundance. Yes,
Sundance.
please.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Let's
was
put it
just,
out there. Yes, I would like to do that.
that'd be a lot of
Um,
fun to do
that
that.
wasn't really my focus
Yeah.
because I didn't feel like for me that was gonna pay the bills in the beginning, and that
Yeah.
was the main concern,
Hmm.
just, like, providing for my family.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I mean, a little bit, like, just helping people out with things in the beginning, yes, but nothing, like, that you would know. Like college projects or something probably.
Yeah, well,
I
that's
don't
what
really
how it
remember.
starts. Yeah, if you do
Yeah.
like, because there's a lot of film schools out there and everything. You could always start that way, and then
Yep.
next thing you know, you never know.
I've done
Yeah.
commercials, that
Oh,
kind of
okay.
work.
Yeah.
I've done
Yeah.
a lot of
Well,
commercials
that
before.
counts.
What's that?
That counts.
Okay, well,
That's
I
like
thought
doing
you were
it.
just talking about, like, movies.
No, just like
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
I've done
short
a lot of
films and
commercials and editorial work, yes.
mhm. Yeah, I just because I do a lot of short films or even features and stuff like that, and we always have the makeup people and the
Mhm.
costume people and all that. So thought maybe since you're out in
Just as
California,
long as I don't have to do gory special effect makeup.
uh, that'd be
Not my
fun.
jam.
No,
Not my thing.
not into the horror. That'd be a
No
lot of fun
blood,
seeing you
no
do all
horror,
blood.
no thank you. I was asked to do it for Comic-Con, and I
Yeah.
politely declined.
Oh, that would have been fun.
I did Robert Smith makeup this year, that was cool.
Yeah.
I'll do that, like,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, yes.
Yeah. Well, if they did period piece, you'd probably like that.
Oh, yeah, I would
Yeah.
love to do a period piece, just not
Mhm.
gory. I don't
Yeah.
like blood, and I don't like doing wounds or anything like that. I can do it, but I don't wanna do it.
If I make a film, I want to bring back the '90s and go and bring it back to the '90s when we
I'm your
were
girl. I
in the
can
prime,
do
right?
wardrobe styling and the whole deal.
Make it look like totally like mid '90s University of Dayton
Yeah, I'll just
style.
go in my, like, my tubs from college and get all my clothes out. All my high
Oh,
school, grade school stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I saved all that.
Oh, those were great times. But and the funny thing is now, all things then is like are coming back now.
Absolutely.
All the vintage.
Everything.
It's all vintage. Like I was playing Nintendo, regular Nintendo, with my
Yeah.
4-year-old nephew playing Super Mario Brothers. Going,
Oh, yeah,
I
Mario
can't
Brothers is the jam.
believe, I
Yep.
can't believe I'm
My
doing this right
nieces
now.
love it too. I'm like, "Step aside." I used to get the magazine.
So it's a crazy time period that is coming back. So
Yep.
you never know. You never know what
Overalls.
can
I almost wore my overalls tonight.
happen.
They're back. They've been
They're
back.
back.
I saw someone with a banana beret the other day. That was
Yeah.
startling. I'm not sure I like that trend coming back.
Now, have you
Scrunchies
ever
are back.
the which ones?
Scrunchies.
Oh, they are. They're back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's totally nostalgia is all back again. It's crazy.
Plaid.
Plaid. What about
I mean, what I'm wearing is like
yeah.
basically 90s.
I'm waiting for those shirts, the plaid, the old '90s shirts, the plaid shirts, the Nirvana.
Oh, they're back. Go to
Yeah?
Urban Outfitters. They have them right now.
Really? I have them in my closet if I can still
There
fit
you
into
go.
them.
You could sell it right now on Poshmark or eBay and make a penny.
I'm probably about 10 pounds heavier than I was, but back in 1990s, only 10.
Not bad.
It's a lot. 20 years later, 20 more than 20 years later.
Oh my gosh.
But whatever. At first I was sitting here gaining all this weight, and so the last couple of weeks I've been out. I haven't run outside or exercised. I used to go to the gym and stuff, but I haven't been able to run outside in a long time, and now I'm running 3 miles a day every day.
My husband and I were laughing because it's like spring break in our neighborhood. I'm like, no one's ever out. And now all of a sudden, like everyone's a runner and everyone's like doing exercises. People that haven't exercised since the 90s are out. And I'm like, you had to like dust off those shoes, didn't you?
Yeah.
So funny.
But it's been fun that when it first started, they had the parks open. So I was running in the park and I was like playing Frogger with people running around them because there was so many people still around. I'm like, go home. I want to run. Like, you're not supposed to be out. So they closed all the parks then. So
yep, here too.
Yeah.
Even our walking trail, everything closed. So we had to get creative and find some hidden ones.
How's it doing out there? Is it getting better?
Luckily our governor, Newsom, is doing a really good job, and he started the shutdowns early, so that helped a lot. We're not as bad as we're significantly better than places like Ohio and Michigan. Michigan, my
Michigan's not
friend
doing too
sent
well right
me
now.
stats.
No.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Basically, Michigan has more cases and deaths than all of California. So think
Wow.
about that, like how
Wow.
big California is compared to Michigan, and
Yeah.
they have a
Wow.
lot, substantially more.
Yeah, it's not doing too well there. And New Jersey, well, we're right by New York, so it's a pretty hotbed right now.
Yeah, you
So
are in the hotbed.
yeah, so I stay in. I go to like a store, come home. Go to a store, come home. Got my mask on. I got my
Yeah, I
hand.
mean,
That's
I
it.
wouldn't even go to the store out here, so I'm amazed you're even going to the store.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything online. I am
Yeah,
terrified.
mostly.
They're
I just
saying people in New York, what was it? Was like 2 deaths a minute.
it's pretty bad in New York.
It's
Yeah.
bad.
So well,
Don't go out.
I know,
Order it
right?
online. Oh my god, what
Yeah,
do you
for the
mean?
most part. But if I
Order
need
your
something,
groceries
I got a
and spray
7-Eleven
them
here.
down. I'm a lunatic. If a package comes, I'm
Yeah,
like
spray it
wiping
down.
it off. I don't bring it in the house. I like dump it on the sidewalk and like pick it up with gloves. Nope. I'm like that stuff lives on cardboard.
For the most part, though, I've been ordering online. I ordered that little light that I have here online. I got my new microphone here
Good.
online. So that's it. And I'm teaching online. So we're teaching school. We're not
Oh yeah.
going back till at least May 15th, at least. They just said today, at
We have to
least.
do homeschool right now. Thank God my kids are only preschool and kindergarten because
Yeah. Well,
I am not meant to be a teacher. God bless you.
I've been doing it for a long time, but I teach TV film. So the transition to being hands-on to this is a little difficulty, but
Yeah.
getting people to instead of being guests in the classroom, but showing the students these videos is helped a lot too. So
Yep.
just to we're pretty much out of time here. I got another guy waiting.
I talk too much. Sorry.
No, I haven't talked to you so long, so it's great. We could go on forever, right?
I know.
But I wanted you to maybe because you persevered in so many different things throughout your life and different aspects in communications. Would you be able to give some good advice to my high school students? We have an arts program, we have TV film, but we have all arts. It's all across. It's basically like going to communications for high school. And so, do you have any advice that you could give them?
What I said before, just
Mhm.
tapping into everything you can, even if you don't think it's relevant at all to what you're doing, learn about marketing, learn about anything. Like if you're kind of interested in music, but that's not really what you want to do, who cares? Do it anyway. Do the video, do the radio, do whatever it is you have available to you. Take a painting class. Like I've used everything,
Yeah, you've done
whether it's,
everything.
it's like I got a minor in African history in college just because I love this professor and I ended up
Yeah.
taking so many classes from him. Guess what? I ended up using that knowledge in a photo shoot about African weddings.
Well,
I knew like little like prop things that were necessary for the shoot. So it's like you don't know later how it's going to come back and help you. So even if it seems like I don't want to do that, what do I need to know that for?
mhm.
Do it. It's
Yeah,
like, why not? Like, get as much knowledge in as many different areas as you can. And
sounds
it's so
great.
helpful.
Well, thanks for coming on. It was great talking to you, and
You're
it
welcome.
went by
Thanks for having me.
so fast.
I
So,
know.
uh, do you have any websites you want to promote or push out there that Nick
Yes.
can put up? He'll if
Yes.
you want to say it, he'll put them up there.
So my company and my website is thorneartistry.com. It's THORNE. There's an E at the end. And then my Instagram, please follow me. It's at Thorne Artistry. And yeah, my Facebook, not so much. Instagram and
Yeah.
my website.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, we'll scroll it up there on our little our live comments. Oh, I have the private comments on. We got some live comments. So Ming's put them on the live comments there for you.
Awesome.
And
Thank you.
yeah. And
Appreciate it.
yeah.
Thanks for
So
thinking of me.
yeah,
You
no
did a good
problem.
job.